Happy New Year!
New Year's Eve is here.
No, New Year's Eve is past, my friend.
New
This
Year's
is
Eve
New Year's
was
Day.
yesterday. Yeah.
Man.
That didn't sound right to you musically?
No, you're running my song into the ground. It's got to be used a very special occasion. If we sing it every week.
What about New Year's Day is here?
Yeah, that's the best one so far.
Okay. But then you never have to hear it again until like 12 months from now.
You're gonna say Flag Day, Arbor Day is here in a minute. You're gonna say I don't know. You're gonna say our birthdays are here. You know, this is a very special occasion song. It's an annual tradition.
Okay.
This is a bad energy that I'm dragging us into the new year with, and I do apologize.
My first thought was would have to know when Flag Day was to even piss you off first. So
Yeah,
I'll have to get that on the calendar, and then we'll see what happens on that.
Okay.
If Flag Day falls on a listener's episode day, I will sing it.
But I think Arbor Day sounds better because it has 2 syllables. Arbor Day.
Okay. Good to know. So I have permission on Arbor Day?
No, you don't.
Okay. Well, okay. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Aren't we all thrilled to be together once again, starting off strong into 2023. Who knows what the year holds? We're not going to make predictions because they never go as anticipated.
And not only that, but they just go absolutely on their ass. Like
yeah.
It's not even that it doesn't come true. It's just it's opposite day.
Opposite day. Yikes.
Well, good luck to everyone. That's all I'm going to say. Just I hope everyone's good.
Here's the thing that has not changed. Every first of the month, we read stories that you send in to us about ghosts, about true crimes, and Eva selects them. We don't know them ahead of time, and then we read them to each other and you.
Yeah, and to you, and you, and you, and you and me, and me
and
to you.
We're all holding hands across the world.
Oh, well, is there Eva usually will look for a certain category, but I think this time around Eva just went, you know what, I'm here for the creeps. And
yep, she said there's not really a general theme, it's just kind of creeps and just scariness. So
I'm happy. Would you like to go first? Would you like me to go first?
I think you should go first.
Oh,
as is tradition.
But I feel like usually when I give you the option you go, I'll go first.
Nah, I'll let you go.
Not today, though. Not today. You want me to be the first story of the entire year?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'll take it. Okay, so this is from Julie, who's a she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns, Julie. And the subject is Haunted Christmas Ornament.
Dun, dun, dun. I love that.
It feels very on par for us or very on brand for us in this exact moment because it actually isn't even Christmas for us yet. So we're still in the Christmas spirit, and to get a haunted Christmas story is very much what I wanted. So.
Yeah, we're still trying to prepare ourselves for Christmas. I will say, I thought you were going to say it's very on brand for us because Christmas is over and we're still talking about it, which also is pretty on brand for us.
Also on brand. But no, that is not what I meant, but I do mean it now, actually. So this is Julie's story. Hi, love the podcast. To the point. Last Christmas, which at the time of reading this means 2021, we were decorating our Christmas tree, and among our ornaments, I found that none of us, myself, husband, and 2 teenage kids, had ever seen this ornament before.
Spooky.
I already hate it.
Yeah.
It was a black Scotty dog with a red plaid scarf. I'm not even there, and I know exactly the image that we're talking about here.
Totally.
It's the most Christmas. I don't know how Scottish Terriers became like the dog logo
they wear
of
plaid
Christmas
and stuff. You know, I think the plaid does it.
It's a good point. That's a great
tartan.
Point.
I don't know.
Tartan. Oh, buffalo. Well, buffalo every now and then. Buffalo plaid.
Yeah, I don't know if that's very Scottish though. I think buffalo is a very in North America thing.
I feel like though, if I had a Scottish Terrier, I would ruin their culture and put a buffalo plaid on.
Absolutely.
I'd find a way to ruin it. I always do. So anyway, that little dog was on the ornament. The ornament didn't have a tag and looked to be handmade out of needle felted wool.
Whoa.
It was quite large, probably about 4 inches long, and we tried to think if anyone had given it to us, and we were all certain we had never seen it before. I took pictures of it and sent it to a few family members, and none of them had ever seen it either. One of my kids wanted to yeet it into the woods. Love it. My husband, who is not a superstitious man, wanted to burn it.
Oh.
Ooh, which I feel like burning could actually make things
That's not
worse.
good. I was going to say, it's not even good if you are superstitious. That's usually like a bad move.
Well, then Julie goes on to say, I got a horrible, ominous feeling when we talked about burning it.
Yes, good.
Listen to your gut, my friend. I'm familiar with the black dog symbolism, and the whole thing made me feel yuck. I didn't even think to me
I
that it
didn't
was
think of that either, because usually I think of it as being a big black lab or something, not a Scottish Terrier.
some sort of like crazy big shepherd or
Yeah,
something.
some mutt dog.
I said something like, what if it curses us if we do something to it? Which freaked us all the fuck out. So as a family, we unanimously agreed to hang it on our tree, which I can't tell if that's better or worse than
Yeah.
because like hang, it almost feels like now you're inviting it. Or
Yeah, like you've
accepting
accepted it. Yes,
Mhm.
but yes, agreed. But I also get it because it's like, well, if you throw it away, like that's probably somehow worse.
Yeah. I would just be like, okay, I leave you with love and light at Goodwill.
For someone else's problem.
After Christmas, I distinctly remember packing it up with the rest of our ornaments and thinking to myself, well, I guess I'll see you next Christmas. Which, by the way, next Christmas is this year, so I'm guessing that's where the story takes us.
Uh-oh.
Fast forward to just a few days ago. I am a psychic. Okay. Fast
Okay. I wouldn't go that far.
forward to a few days ago when we put up our tree. We finished hanging all the ornaments and I hadn't come across the dog. I like how you knew to look for the dog this time.
Yeah.
though. I asked everyone if they had seen it or hung it up, and they had not. No one had seen the dog ornament. Now we only have 3 small boxes of ornaments, which all fit on our tree each year, and all those boxes were all emptied, so I know we didn't miss it. I checked and rechecked just in case. I unpacked the 1 box of decorations we have, and it wasn't in there either. It freaking vanished. Here's the weirdest part. I looked back in my camera roll for pictures of the dog ornament, and there aren't any.
What?
Even weirder, there are no pictures of our Christmas tree. I always take dozens of photos of our tree from all angles on the day we set it up. I can look back to any year except last year and find probably 50 tree pictures. My pictures from last year include our family at the Christmas tree farm where we cut our tree and a close-up of the Chuck Norris action figure we put in our tree each year. That's it. Not a single picture of the finished tree.
Fuck?
There were a few pictures from Christmas Day that show the tree in the background, and I've carefully zoomed in on each one looking for the dog, and it's not in any of the photos. If my whole family didn't remember this, I would have thought it was a dream or something, but we all remember it vividly. I don't know where it came from or where it went, but hopefully we avoided any bad luck by respectfully hanging it on our tree last year.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, now I'm pro hanging it on the tree? Now I'm like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, now we know it worked.
I wonder where it went next. Do you think to another family who needed
I
a
wonder.
Christmas lesson?
Well, what's the fucking lesson?
I don't know. Hang me on the tree. I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm like, I wonder, is that the end of the story? By
That's
the way,
the end of the
okay.
story.
Thank you, Julie. I wonder if, like, can you go back through texts with family where you've texted the photo of it and said like, hey, do you recognize this? Like, check if those texts from last
Oh.
Christmas are still in there. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
there's even proof that you've ever mentioned it.
yeah, and maybe the photos will still be in the text messages. I don't know. It's worth checking.
You know, it's so weird. It's one thing when we talk about items that just like magically appear in front of you, that like it's almost as if they've been conjured or something. But it's usually an item that you're already attached to and were looking for in the first place, or
Yes.
something that meant something to somebody. But like for it to just appear to an entire family with no reference
Also,
and no context,
4 inches is really like a big ornament.
that's like Funko Pop size. That's
Yeah.
like your phone is like 6 inches.
That's like
I
a
think
solid
That's-
size ornament.
You don't, and also the fact that everyone remember it was handmade. So now I'm like,
oof.
is that freaks me out more because I'm like, if it was
Oofa-doofa.
handmade, who put this little spell on it that it's just popping around to different houses and like,
I gotta say, check the grill for any sign of that plaid scarf in case your husband went a digging one night and
decided to
fried it
actually
up.
burn it without telling him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you probably got Snoopy about it this year, he was like, "Oh my god, I don't know.
Gotta
I don't
Shit.
play it cool, play it cool, play it cool."
It's haunted.
Yeah, I wonder, and maybe like for all we know, maybe it was like if it was a ghost ornament, maybe that little dog just wanted a home for Christmas and then it didn't need you anymore. Like maybe it's something
Aw.
sweet, but also like keep your guard up, girl, because like
Yeah.
I don't want you to accidentally welcome it back. And we are talking about it quite a lot actually. So
And I'd like to ask too, like, did anything happen last
yeah.
year? Like, did somebody pass? Was it an omen of
Mm.
something? Or yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just a friendly thing, and when you felt bad about putting it in the fire, it was like, don't hurt me because I'm a friendly dog ornament.
Yeah, and my first thought was like, oh well, maybe someone took it off the tree, but you remember packing it away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
That's
very
weird.
weird. Well, keep us updated. I wonder if it'll ever come back.
Yeah. By the way, to the entire higher world and other realms, I'm not interested in finding this ornament. If it's popping around to different homes now, I don't need it on my tree.
Oh, I'll take it.
Okay. Hey,
Okay.
I'm so fine with that. Okay.
Okay, so this is the next email. It's called Haunted Planes Do Exist. Dun
Oh,
dun dun.
I think we've talked about haunted planes a few times now. About
we have.
are
We
you just like-
have.
if you die on a plane, are you a ghost in the sky?
Oh my gosh, what do? You just floating around eating peanuts?
Can you come back down, or are you just stuck in the clouds forever? But not
Uh,
not far enough into the clouds that you're in heaven.
Right,
You know?
right. Like, am I just in the in between? Can I? Anyway, here, I'll read this. Hi, Eva and friends. My name is Izzy, they, them. I was listening to episode 302, where at one point, Em and Christine wonder where ghosts from plane crashes go. While I don't have a personal experience, plane crashes have long been a fascination of mine, and these two stories creep me the hell out as a kid. I want to apologize in advance to anyone listening to this on the plane right now. You have my permission to switch episodes, because sometimes I will be listening to an episode and they'll talk about plane crashes, and I think, I don't need
Time to
this
go.
energy. Yeah,
Time
I'm
to
going to
go.
come back to this later when I land and I'm safe on the ground.
Yes.
Okay, so they say these two stories creep me the hell out as a kid. Each also provides a different haunting theory, so to speak. So these are like,
Ooh.
oh my gosh. So Izzy literally put together two little like paragraphs on each of these haunted plane crashes. So
Oh wow. Okay.
I love this. This is like notes for me. Here we go. The first is Eastern Airlines Flight 401. Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed into the Florida Everglades in December of 1972, killing 101 of the 176 people on board.
Oh my god.
Portions of the aircraft were salvaged, allegedly for reuse in other aircrafts. It was on one such aircraft that, the following year, a senior flight attendant noticed a man in full uniform seated in first class appearing dazed. When the flight attendant got closer, he noticed that it was Captain Bob Loft, a longtime veteran of Eastern Airlines and the deceased pilot of Flight 401.
Shut up.
Just got goose cam.
Oh my god.
This wasn't the only sighting either. A flight attendant on another plane opened an overhead storage compartment only to see Bob Loft's face
Christine.
looking back at her.
What?
I
Why is your face up there?
don't know. Get down
Bob.
there. Get down from there, Bob.
I guess
That's
if you're
for-
a ghost pilot, there's only so many things you can do on the plane. Eventually, you're going to get bored, you know?
Yeah,
Just-
got to climb in there, see what it's
You-
really like. We've all
you know what-
wondered.
You know what he was doing?
What?
He was snooping through someone's luggage.
He's got to be.
And by the way, I can tell you with enough of my flight attendant friends that they actually do climb into those.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you've shown me a picture.
I mean, not for work or anything, but like in their free time. Like my friends have sent me pictures of them just like sleeping in
Lounging.
fake sleeping in the baggage space.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had to have been snooping through someone's bag.
You
I would
gotta
be.
He got caught red-handed, you know?
I like it. He was like, I'm going to take my own head off of my ghost body just because that's the only one that's going to fit.
The peepers
And
got to look around.
I don't need the rest of me right now. I just
Yeah.
need the old lookaroo, you know,
I need the old peepers to look through somebody's baggage.
stuff.
So it says only to see Bob Loft's face looking back at her, and then parentheses Izzy says, "No thanks. Like, why was this whole grown ass man ghost tucked up in there?"
I already told you.
We already told you.
The snooping.
An entire cockpit crew once noticed that Second Officer Don Repo, the flight engineer on Flight 401, was suddenly sitting amongst them. He warned them of a faulty electrical circuit before vanishing. Don's face was also seen in an oven door reflection, and he was once spotted fixing an oven with unknown success. The story goes that with unknown success, I like that.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like,
that means
"Oh."
that if your oven ever breaks, maybe it was Pilot Bob just stopping by to fix it when it
To
wasn't
fix it,
broken
yeah.
because he thought it
Aw,
needed fixing, and now you have a broken oven.
poor Don. The story goes that all of the salvaged parts were eventually replaced by non-haunted parts, and the ghosts of Bob and Don were never seen again.
Oh, wow.
Isn't
So
that
they were
amazing
still
that they were attached to like
attached.
the pieces of the plane
Like
that
the
they
whole
worked
plane.
with?
That's so crazy. Like, what if it was like, what if there was one screw left? Would they have known? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You know,
Oy.
I've heard those. I think they talked on Astonishing Legends about Eastern Airlines Flight 401, and it was so creepy to hear them say, like, we couldn't figure out why people were seeing ghosts on this plane, and then they found out that pieces of it were used from that plane crash, which is so scary.
Which I wonder if that is like, I don't know where you go after like your spirit is no longer attached to items around here. I mean, like, unless all of that stuff went into an incinerator, it just got moved to a different plane, right? Or like it just got thrown
Yeah,
away.
or a junkyard.
Yes, are they now haunting a junkyard or
Yeah,
like
it makes
like
you
when
wonder.
does it
Is it
stop?
because they're being used again for their purpose, and that's why?
Oh,
Is it? Are they attached to all the pieces of the plane? Is it just like maybe it's just like the remnants of their energy? Like it's not really them. It's just like
yeah.
their essence.
Or
I don't know.
Or if it's like, if there's, I mean, how many parts are to a plane? A whole lot. And if they're all
Yeah.
being spread out, does that mean they're now haunting like 60 random planes? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's
Wow.
weird.
So many questions. Here's the second one. It says in 1979, American Airlines Flight 191 went down in a field just minutes after takeoff from Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Oh, God. Killing all 271 people on board. I mean, geez, this is like my biggest fear.
Yeah.
The wreckage came to rest right at the edge of a mobile home park. Within hours of the crash, while rescue workers were still on the scene, people in the mobile home park began to hear knocks on their doors and windows, only to find no one was there. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
my God.
Everybody on board was killed. Oh my God, I have goose cam. Over weeks and months, the noises escalated into rattling doorknobs like someone was trying to get inside and footsteps coming up the metal front stairs. A few residents opened their doors to find people standing there, worried and confused, muttering about their luggage or their connecting flight.
Oh my God.
my God.
Which was probably the last few minutes of them before they boarded those
what
planes.
they were thinking of and what they were. Oh gosh. If that's that's my personal hell. You're stuck like asking about your connecting flight in an airport. I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
But also, like, can you imagine an entire neighborhood all of a sudden now being plagued with ghosts because there
Yes.
happened to be like such an event that happened in your
like
area?
nearby. Yeah.
And now, like, all
Ooh.
the ghosts, all the neighbors are just like, geez, like now we're all fucking haunted.
We're
Like,
infiltrated.
this wasn't even supposed to happen.
Man, that is so spooky. One resident was approached late at night by a gentleman who smelled strongly of gasoline and had steam coming off of his clothes. The stranger
Ew,
told
oh
the
no.
resident he needed to make an emergency phone call. That's so sad.
And then
Vanished.
like, oh, and then he vanished.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and then what happens? Like, do you let him in your house?
Yeah,
and
they
then,
I guess said, okay, you can use my
like,
phone, and then vanished. Residents also reported hearing cries from the empty field, and dogs would stand at the edge of it and just bark endlessly at something no one could see. That just makes me really
That's so
fucking sad because it's like, are they stuck? Like, how do we help
think it's
them out?
I think it's interesting because, like, a lot of times when we hear ghost stories, we immediately want to freak out. But, like, when you know the context of how those ghosts were created, it's like all of a sudden
Horrible.
the empathy completely switches over because you
Yeah.
know that none of the ghosts are harmful. They're just confused and
They're just-
scared. But then it's like, how do you
so
even help them?
sad.
Yeah,
I wish I could do
that's.
something.
I feel like that neighborhood, like that town council, should bring in like a well-renowned medium to talk to them
Yeah.
or something and be like, it's time, you gotta
Yeah,
go.
something traumatic happened, and like I'm sure that would be confusing if you were suddenly dead and you were like not sure what happened. I mean, oof. Okay, yikes. Well, Izzy says, anyway, good thing I didn't send that until y'all were done traveling for the tour. Thank you, Izzy.
Thank you, Izzy.
I was at the Atlanta show and had the absolute time of my life, especially because I was sitting right by M's mom.
Oh, God bless you.
I had no idea who she was and was texting my friend like, OMG, there are these wild mummies here who just went balls to the walls. Lots of love, Izzy.
That is my mother, balls to the wall.
Like have photos of M taped to their bodies.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that you saw two people in their late 50s, early 60s and went, wow, I'm so glad that we have such a diverse crowd, and didn't even didn't even think, oh, that one looks a lot like M.
That's so cute.
No, it's very, I'm sure thank you for dealing with her, because I couldn't in the moment, as you know. So
Yeah, remember when? Oh, so they probably figured out who it was when you said, "Oh, my mom's here," because remember you had
Yeah,
Linda stand up.
and then Izzy probably had
When-
like a
that
bit of a heart
explains
attack.
it. That explains it.
Yeah, thank you for watching my mom for me while I couldn't. So, because I do get nervous about her with a certain amount of alcohol in her system when she's
Yeah,
dressed like
yeah.
a mummy at a Halloween show where people are giving her an ego boost of her lifetime. So
Yeah, she's gonna carry that well into the future.
she still talks about it. So if you were involved in the creation of that,
Brava.
brava, and also that it
Stop
didn't
it.
help. It didn't help. It's now I still have to hear about it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Izzy. Our next story is from Deb, not the web.
Damn
but
it.
I will say that Deb uses they them pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns, and I'm very happy to meet a fellow baby.
2 babies in a row.
Yeah. And also, Deb, if you are a web, I would like to know about that. So thank you.
Yeah, you should probably specify, please.
If you have a best friend named Skylar, that would be really convenient for us.
For me.
So
Yeah.
yeah, for Christine. The subject is my English teacher was a Christine.
What?
My English teacher was a suspect for the Watcher House.
Stop it.
I shan't. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Hi, Eva M. Christine. My name is Deb, not the web.
It
Thank
says
you.
that? Oh,
It
okay.
does.
I was going to
They-
say, how do you know M? But I guess if they specified.
They made sure to let me know, which I appreciate, because I was still on the fence. Could have been a
Yeah.
web. We don't know. Could have written this letter like Charlotte's Web, just kind of kept typing away. My name is Deb, not the web, and I use they them pronouns. I've been listening to your show I'm so sorry.
What?
While I had stitches over my eyelids in 2019.
The
Big-
F?
I was healing from double eyelid surgery.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yes.
I didn't know where we were going with that. All I saw was stitches over my
It
eyelids.
sounds like
and
Coraline when you say it like
sounds
that.
like Saw. I was like,
Yeah.
what is going on? But then Deb says, don't worry, it's extremely common for South Koreans. Half my family got it.
Yes, I know
and-
people who have as well.
And I was looking for podcasts because I couldn't open my eyes to watch TV.
Oh, you poor thing.
Deb. Oh, not the web, but certainly the person I feel for
Yeah,
right now.
I feel for you.
Turns out your podcast is much scarier when your eyes are closed the whole time because it's easier to visualize the story.
That's
I also saw Here for the Booze in San Francisco right before the pandemic, and both of you did a spectacular job.
That's so nice.
Aw,
Thank
that's so
you.
nice. Anyway, some hometown related lore, and then there is a content warning for suicide. So there is that in case you would like to skip this story. I grew up next to Westfield, New Jersey, which is where the Watcher House was located. For those who are unfamiliar, it was that home that started getting vaguely threatening anonymous letters in the mid 2010s. The story was pretty personal for a lot of my friends at the time who either lived a few blocks away, oh my God, or took piano lessons next door to that house. Oh, shit.
Ooh.
I would be so paranoid every second that you saw the person.
Yeah.
Even my high school friend who interned at the county courthouse was working on the case as well. We would beg her to break her NDA for intel, but and here we call it a friend DA, as in like, maybe you could tell your friends even though you're not supposed
Oh,
to.
wait. They said that? The friend DA?
They're calling it a friend
Oh,
DA.
I love that. That's so clever.
But she always refused, so she wouldn't break the NDA. Meanwhile,
Boo.
I'm like constantly breaking my NDA to you.
Constantly.
Anyway, fast forward to 2022, and the Netflix series The Watcher releases in October.
Did you watch it?
No.
I did.
How was it?
It was kind of meh. It was like they were trying to make it really scary, like more like shock value than it was, but then they didn't really commit hard enough to that. That was my
interesting.
opinion. And it was sort of like some of it was real and then some of it was like absolute fiction, which I feel like is fine, but like they didn't lean into that hard enough to make it. Because then at the end, they were like, anyway, this is an unsolved story. And I'm like, well, you made so much of it up. You might as well have come up with like a
An ending.
fantastical ending. Yeah, I just felt a little disappointed by it, I guess I
I
should say.
I feel like if it was narrated by the way you told the story the first time I ever heard about it, that shit was scary. So like,
I think that's what bothered me too, is like so much of it is already so scary, and then they
Like, you don't need the
fabricated so much.
fanfare.
Yeah, and it was like a little much where I was like, okay, like we're pushing the envelope here.
yeah, you could just tell the story and we'll be properly
It's
freaked out.
very scary in and of itself. Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's what my thought always is with like producers and stuff. I'm like, clearly it was scary enough that you
Right.
wanted to like option this.
Yeah.
So like, why do
yeah.
you need to make it scarier? You already
I-
knew it was scary.
Yeah, and I get like exaggerating or like just like kind of making some elements, like combining characters to make it easier or whatever. But like some of this stuff was like fully made up, and then to not really, and then to pretend like, oh, anyway, this all happened like that, and there was no ending. I don't know. I'm worried that you're about to tell me that they loved the story, that Deb the web, not the web, loved the story, and I
Oh.
just shit all
We'll
over
find
it.
out. We'll
Okay.
find out. I'm sure we'll find out. Okay, so 2022. The Netflix series The Watcher releases in October. Christine feels 5 out of 10 about it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't watch it
Oh.
because it felt too real and I heard it was a disappointing show.
Okay, it was. I also read a bunch of reviews to make sure I wasn't the only one.
Okay, perfect. Well, anyway, through the grapevine, I found out that not only my senior year English teacher was a major suspect, but also he was featured on the show by a different actor for a whole episode.
Yeah, that was one of the suspects
So
in the show.
apparently, I don't know if this means anything to you, but episode 6 was
Okay.
an actor.
Yeah, there
their
was an
teacher
English teacher that they like brought into the show. Okay, I didn't know that was actually real. That part.
Yeah, well, now you know at
Wow.
least one thing is
yeah,
true.
there you go.
And Deb, not the web, was once their student.
That is so interesting. Okay.
Roger Kaplan, as his name was altered on the show, would tell his classes that he wrote more than 50 letters to a certain house in Westfield and had his students write letters to any house they loved as an assignment. I never got that project, but I was in the last class he taught when he retired in 2014, the same time the Watcher case began. Oh, so maybe he was like, I need to
This
not
is
do
not
that.
the time.
His brother also lived down the block from the home. Ooh, so that does make it weird. That does make it a bit of
Yeah.
a suspicious thing. And for all we know, I mean, like, I think that is kind of a bit of a weird assignment, but I do see like the pure intention of it.
Yeah.
If he was never actually the person, I could see like, oh, just like write a letter to something you love and like let's just pick houses in the town or something. Is there a house you have a really good memory at and like write about it?
hmm
I could see it, but also, yeah, that is very on the
In
nose.
the context, it's like a little too close for
a little
comfort.
too close for me to not wonder. Yeah. Wow. If he really is innocent, he must be like, wow, that makes me look so bad.
It's
This
like
is-
the worst possible.
and it was a house right down from his brother, so he's definitely seen
Yeah.
the house.
Well, I don't know
Man.
how true this is, and I assume Deb's gonna tell us, but in the show, they made it out as like he spent time there as a kid and always loved the
Mm.
house, and then he was obsessed with it. But I mean, that might all be fiction.
I don't know. Either way, I mean, he really had to lose so much sleep over
but
like,
it makes
wow,
you
that's
wonder, like,
not a cute look.
Could it be one of his students who like
oh,
did the assignment and then went, "I'm into this, and I'm gonna keep doing it."
one of his students, Deb?
Like who took it too far? No,
No,
Deb never did it. It's not Deb. I swear.
Although it would be the perfect crime, Deb, not the web, to reach out to us and
It seems like the
say
least
it wasn't
perfect crime.
you know?
It seems like a terrible way to get it out of a crime, but okay.
But either way, that is actually a really, because I mean, maybe he did inspire the idea.
Yeah, right? Ooh.
Weird. But then he would lose sleep about that too. He'd be like, oh God, not a good look.
Nope.
Okay. So apparently the show portrayed him accurately from what I was told. You hear about him as the cool teacher the students admired, but when you get to know him through the episode, he gets a little creepy and pretty unlikable. This was all true in real life. He definitely picked favorites who were mostly conventionally pretty white girls
Ugh.
and baked cookies for them. Ew.
Yuck.
Like he did with an acquaintance of mine. Oh gosh, so you've got the real
yucko.
intel. That's the friend DA I want to know
That's
about.
the
Hang on.
friend DA indeed.
He was that teacher that would say "fuck you" verbatim to the AP syllabus and gave us interesting writing assignments like making a playlist, a screenplay. So writing letters to a house was not out of the ordinary for him. I did always appreciate the teachers who was like, "I'm not going to follow
The
the
unique
syllabus."
assignments. Yeah, me too.
He also had his students write journal entries for his assignments, which he would not only grade but also evidently take inspiration from for his own YA novels.
What?
What is going on?
What?
If you think that was upsetting, wait till I say that Mr. Kaplan was big enough that he was once a regular guest on NPR and that one of his books became a movie with Zac Efron, which was directed by the guy who made the film Boyhood. So
Whoa.
imagine what else he could do with our stories.
Yeah.
Ooh, that feels like
That's
he's like stealing
slimy.
IP.
Yeah,
that feels like.
It's not cool, man.
Can you imagine though being the English teacher that's already cool, and like granted, I'm aware of the slimy parts that I've already discussed here, but to be a teacher that's known to be the cool teacher, you do all the cool assignments, and then you like use that information for movies that have starred Zac Efron now, and you're on NPR.
Yeah.
You're certainly not a normal teacher.
No, you're definitely like in the top tier.
Yeah, and either
Of
you look
memorable
really cool or
teachers.
someone seeing through it and going, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
it's at
that
least
would
memorable.
that would be the guy. I mean, if I were like a detective, I'd be like, this guy's too interesting to not be on our suspect list.
For
Like,
sure. For sure.
At this point, you can figure out Roger Kaplan's in real life name with 2 clicks because a few websites wrote about his connection to the Watcher House. But anyway, I wrote my journal entry once about attempting to die by suicide. And I got a B on the paper.
What?
And he never said a word to me
You
about
can't
it.
get a B on a journal entry. That's not fair.
You also can't get a B on a journal entry about that and then
Yeah,
also not
exactly.
like talk to your student and be like, "Are you okay?"
That's bad.
Wow.
That's
oh
really
my God.
bad. And then a movie starring Zac Efron came out the following year.
Right. After that happened, if that happened to me and then if I wrote something that vulnerable to a teacher that I thought was really cool and then like maybe I could rely on them and then I got a B on the probably the most emotional thing I've ever written down and then didn't get checked on.
Yeah.
I
that's
would have some
really
resentment.
bad. Oh,
And then
for sure.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm going on NPR, no big deal. Also, pretty
extremely
conventional white
bad.
girl. Let me bake you some cookies
Yeah,
and only you
this
some
is
cookies."
so bad. in
Very
every
quickly,
way.
it switches in my mind. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For years, I thought it was him being professional until him ignoring their cries. Wow, that's just so sad. I'm so sorry, Deb, not the web. For years, I thought it was him being professional until I learned later that he stopped one of my friends, a pretty white girl favorite of his, after class for having an eating disorder. Sorry, trigger warning to ED. He stopped her after class for that to tell her how he was so sorry for her situation.
Oh boy. So he's just picking and choosing who he's going to express concern about.
So he didn't give a shit about their attempt, but cared
Yeah.
about this random
Okay.
person's. Oh,
Or this other student's
yeah.
eating disorder.
And I want to emphasize that I'm not comparing our circumstances. I'm just saying no high school teacher should just pick and choose who to offer mental health help
Yeah,
to.
that's not how that works. Sorry.
Yeah, not even like a recommendation for them to go to like the school clinic or something.
Or like put them in touch with somebody or tell a faculty, tell a family, anything.
Yeah. He also had us write letters to everyone in the class before graduation, including one to him if
Oh,
we
God.
liked. And it turns out he used those letters addressed to him as testimonials to his character on his website.
No. What a
It's
motherfucker.
It's exploitative, especially because he technically runs a small business as a professional writer.
Oh God. Of
Oh
course.
yeah, because he's literally making YA novels that are getting
Yeah.
optioned for movies. Anyway, I used to admire him so much. Yes, even with the journal entries, I felt like I had to work extra hard to impress the coolest teacher
I think
in
we've
school.
all been there.
We've all been there.
And looking
now-
back, it feels cringy, and you're like, oh wow,
Just desperate for affirmation.
approval, yeah.
But now thinking about him and his actions years later, even before the Watcher case, would spiral me into deep anger and resentment.
Aw.
I definitely want to see the Netflix show even less now.
Yeah.
It's also
too.
worth mentioning that my, again, suicidal urges ended years ago. I'm very proud of you. That's
Good.
great. That's very good. And that I'm doing perfectly well. Yay!
No
Okay,
thanks
good.
to that asshole.
No thanks. But I'm a freelance illustrator and graphic novelist in Brooklyn, and I live with a rescue cat named Marley who only has 4 teeth.
Oh my God, I love her.
I don't know Marley, but I love her and all of her 4 teeth.
I love her.
My first graphic novel is a memoir called In Limbo.
Holy shit.
That's publishing March 2023. That is actually about my time in high school as a depressed Korean American. I know
yeah.
I know Em is more of a comics person, so I would love to send them and Christine if she'd like an advance copy.
Yeah.
Roger Kaplan was almost featured in the book too, but I figured even before the Netflix show that he doesn't need any more exposure.
Great point.
That's it for now. Maybe next time I'll tell you about my 3 years in an internet mermaid cult.
Oh,
Or about the time my ex-friend's parents accidentally introduced a demon into their home via an eBay purchase during our senior year.
haunted doll.
Best wishes, Deb, not the web.
Whoa.
Yeah, Deb, I'd like both of those stories, please and thanks.
You know, we've talked about this before, having an episode that's just like another day. That's a story for another day. I'll tell you about XYZ.
We should definitely have an another day episode.
Maybe that'll be the theme I request for February. If you
Eva,
ever
just go into Gmail and type in "that's for another day," and
No,
you'll get
but-
about 3,000 stories.
No, but I don't want those. I want the ones that they mentioned were for another day.
Yes.
So
Good
now
point,
if you're
good
going to
point.
write in, if you've ever written in and you said, but that's a story for another day, or you said, I'll send that in another time, maybe consider sending that now. And in
this
the
could be the other
subject-
time.
Yeah, in the subject, you can write today's
the other
now's
time.
Now's the time.
Now's the day. Now's
now.
the time.
Figure it out. You'll come up
Today-
with something more clever than
That's
that.
for another day.
Today's
Today's-
the day.
Today's the another day. Nope.
It's fine. You'll figure it out. Just write something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this one is from M, they, them.
Wait. What if I told you I just wrote those?
I know. Well, it's called spending Cole's cash in the afterlife, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I wouldn't be caught dead. No, I'm just kidding. I love Cole's
Yeah,
Cash.
actually, I was like, oh, sorry, this is not bougie enough for you.
One of my friends was obsessed with the idea that Cole's Cash was an insult. I don't totally understand it, but she had a real.
Was that me? Because I used
No.
to. Oh, Renee and I used to do that. We had like these jokes where we would just insult people about Cole's cash.
No, my friend, I think just really, I think she, like her older sister worked at Kohl's or something, so she just like grew up
Oh.
having a hatred for Kohl's, and so every time I got something that I thought looked really cool, but she didn't, she'd go, how'd you pay for that with your Kohl's cash?
Yeah, it was like a weird insult in high school that we said. I don't know why. It's just rude.
I think that's how you know you've grown up, when you're like, layaway sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm like,
Kohl's
hello?
Cash
What's-
is great.
Tell me the problem. Okay, hello all. I'm Ember, and I just want to quickly say I love you both and everything you do, though I am 1,000% Team Milkshake. Now,
Aw.
let's just crack into it.
Thank you, Ember.
I live in a town in central New Jersey. Yes, there is a central Jersey, and we are home to a super creepy abandoned mall. It makes me a little sad because it used to be my go-to hangout spot in middle and high school. Though once they got rid of the Suncoast and the Hot Topic, there wasn't much reason to go there anymore. I was still a little disappointed to see the downfall over the years.
Understandable.
You know, it is. It's like end of an era, kind of. you
Hot
know?
Topic. I am 30 years old, and I do not go to a mall and not go into their Hot Topic before I leave.
You have to.
I have to.
I love a Hot Topic.
I
you
love a
could-
Spencer's. I know I won't. There's really few things I'll ever buy there, but for the nostalgia, I like to go in and feel like I'm about to get like carded for going into the
Did you
like
know?
the what?
Did you know Spencer's own Spirit Halloween?
Yes,
Oh, damn! I thought that was
Oh.
a cool fun fact. I found out.
it is a fun
Um,
fact. It makes sense when you think about it.
It does.
It's like
It
like,
does. We just read reviews of Hot Topics on Beach Too Sandy, so you know you might want to
Fun.
listen to that.
a hot topic, or was it a hot mess?
It was both.
It
both.
was the hot topic of that episode, I assume.
It was, and that is not the first time that joke has been made. Sorry
Damn
to
it.
say. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. Now we've both disappointed ourselves.
It's what else is new? Okay. Anyway, I was still a little disappointed to see the downfall over the years. You know it's bad when they tear down multiple walls to put in a gigantic gym with big glass walls overlooking all of the other empty storefronts.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oof. On the far end of the mall, there's a Kohl's. It's the only thing that's still open. The rest of the mall is slowly being torn down piece by piece, and the big glass doors in the Kohl's that used to open up to the mall are closed and locked, but you can still look through them and watch the mall decay.
Jeez.
Whoa,
Oh my
this
God.
is depressing.
Imagine working at that Kohl's and like first of all
Right?
the walk into the Kohl's to like know that like I would imagine my lunch breaks, I would totally just fuck around in that empty fucking mall. Like I would just be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just gonna go explore.
But it's
Or,
also
like-
disappointing because now you can't go eat like the Chinese food from the mall food court or like
Yeah,
the
but
Auntie Anne's.
I'd pack a Sammy in a fanny pack or something, and I would just go look through all the old. I mean, literally the back rooms. Like
That
it
would
looks
be-
like the
it
back
would look
rooms.
like, and I bet you can still find remnants of like the Claire's or
Yeah, like there's got
Ooh.
to be one like product that like didn't make it into the bag in the truck and it's just
Yes,
hanging on the
right?
floor.
Some glitter, something.
Oh my god. And also I'm obsessed. I may have actually seen this mall before on Reddit because I follow the subreddit called Dead Malls and someone recently posted something saying this is one was in Central Jersey. So
Really?
I mean they all pretty much look exactly the same, but it's so fascinating.
It
I
is
actually
fascinating.
I got hyper fixated one night on the names of all of the different tile designs from
Oh,
the
Lord.
malls in the 80s. And that's been fun to go on Dead Malls and just try to like
Figure out which tiles were which. That's interesting.
I'm mentally ill. Please continue with the story.
Okay. So let's see. You can still look through them and watch them all decay. There are big potted plants that have been left there to die. Oh, that's sad.
You didn't even take the pots with you? Damn.
Jeez. Strewn about the corridors of peeling tile. What kind?
I couldn't tell you. I wasn't
Oh.
there. Maybe Starburst? I don't know.
Oh, okay. That is now stained green from the leaking ceiling. The doors to all of the old shops are covered with boards, and there are hefty nets of cobwebs hanging from the yellowing skylights. Ember's a writer, I'm pretty sure.
Ember's name is Ember, so that was
Yeah, I
they were
knew it.
destined to be a writer.
You can see the particles of dust and debris hanging in the blue air, and last I looked through, I swear I saw a rat just wandering around the old pretzel stand. Oh,
Even the rat's like, "Where's my fucking food?"
where the fuck? All
Annie
that
Ann's would never defy me like this.
no. All that being said, it's okay. All those products that they use are like never going to biodegrade. So there's probably still like cinnamon sugar on the ground. That's just perfectly fine to eat. Don't worry. Rat will be okay.
Yeah.
All that being said, I avoid this Kohl's like the plague, though the employees are always very nice. It's always understaffed. The people who shop there are generally not the most pleasant people. And if I'm being honest, the setting stings a little with nostalgia, and I can't help but take a few minutes to look through those doors and remember how great this mall used to be when I was young. But on this day, I had to stop at Kohl's because in my tiny little town, there are no other places to drop off Amazon returns. That's why I go to Kohl's. I used to
I
drop
didn't know
off
they do that.
They do. At least the one by me does.
Well, that's how they must make their money. They're not making it from selling things in their department store.
And so we walked. I remember I would bring my stuff in, and then they would be like, every time you bring in an Amazon purchase, they would give you like a coupon. And I was like, thanks, but I really don't need anything from Kohl's. I just
like
don't.
you are a middleman to me, Kohl's.
Yeah, you do your purpose, and I appreciate that, but I don't need anything from here. Anyway, so boxed up return in hand, I paused at the door, noticing the potted plants had finally dropped most of their brown leaves, and headed to the back. It was uneventful. I gave the woman my return and headed to the bathroom. I had an appointment at the DMV in 45 minutes, and I really didn't want to get stuck in line while having to pee. I picked the stall all the way on the end. The store was empty enough I figured taking the biggest stall wouldn't be a big deal. I would be in and out in a minute. But just as I was about to flush and pull up my pants, I heard the door open and someone rush into the stall closest to the door, and I froze. My public bathroom anxiety spiked. If I flushed, they would know I was here, and that's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
I heard the woman start violently puking. It was an awful sound, and I stayed silent, trying to hold my breath. Oh my God. After a few seconds, the sound shifted from puking to an inhuman, wet, guttural groaning. Oh my God. Followed by a wheezing, raspy inhale, exhale, and then the groan again.
Oh my God.
It sounded like she was having some kind of seizure or asthmatic fit, but before I could say anything, I heard her leave the stall, not even bothering to flush the toilet, and I heard the wheezing get closer and closer.
Absolutely not.
Oh my God, as well as the other stall doors being pushed open. Oh my God.
Shut up. Oh my God. I'm so scared.
She was walking up the bathroom towards my stall. I stood up trying to pull up my pants as quickly as I could when she started violently shaking my door. Oh my God, oh my God. I yelled out, "Hang on 1 second, I'll be right out, and then I can help you." But the second I opened my mouth, the room went silent. Thinking she dropped dead or something right outside my stall, I unlocked and flung the door open, only to see that I was alone.
Christine.
Oh my God.
Ember.
What the hell?
Wow.
What the hell's
The
going on?
writing, the goose cam is incredible.
Goose Cam is hardcore right now. The bathroom was empty and silent. The door to the stall on the far left was open and the toilet was clean.
Ew.
Remember,
What
it
is
didn't
going
flush.
on? I know. What does it mean?
The second it registered in my brain what had just happened, I ran out of the bathroom. I saw no one in the immediate area, no customers, no employees, and I power walked to my car, pausing only to glance out the glass doors at the decomposing mall that now seemed much more ominous than nostalgic. I ran to my car so quickly that I smacked my head on the door as I shoved
God.
myself behind the wheel and finally exhaled, pulling out of the parking lot and speeding over to Starbucks because, god damn it, I deserved a Frappuccino after that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I posted this story on TikTok, and it is my most viewed video so far with about 40,000 views. Holy
Oh, my
shit.
God.
And the subject line of this story is actually from my favorite comment that someone posted on that TikTok. Let me read it again.
Ooh.
Spending Kohl's cash in the afterlife. Okay, that's so cute. And a few people quickly pointed out that through this whole ordeal and during the retelling in the video, I was wearing my favorite glow in the dark, and that's why we drink hoodie.
Aww.
I'm going to cry.
That's so nice.
And then it just ends.
Oh,
Bye,
okay.
Em.
Bye. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. What does it mean?
First of all,
like,
congrats on the viral video. That's exciting.
very congratulations. I wonder if
What does it mean?
I mean, how many Kohl's are there in Central Jersey? Like, you could probably just call and be like, "Have you heard this from other people? Like,
Yeah.
like what is going on?"
Did somebody have an incident?
It sounds like someone maybe was having like a fucking health condition and like was desperately trying to push through the doors to like
find
ask for
somebody.
help, and then probably died in the bathroom or something. That's my only guess. It just feels like a residual haunting of someone needing help and not finding it.
Yeah. And the fact that you heard the vomiting and the wheezing, like you clearly.
The wet groaning.
Oh, I mean, and
God, that's
honestly,
so
like
sad.
I imagine. I mean, I know there was nobody there, so I imagine but I imagine if something had happened and this person actually was there, it would have been in a news report or something, right? Like,
Oh God, I know, right?
person dies in a Kohl's. I don't know.
Well, I
But-
wonder. I mean, the people who work at Kohl's, that especially at that Kohl's, it sounds like they have no one to talk to except themselves all day long. They have had to have talked about how it feels
Something,
spooky
right?
there.
The
They've definitely-
bathrooms.
They've talked about.
They've had to
talked
clean
about
those
stories.
bathrooms. Yeah.
Someone else knows. If I were you, I would absolutely call and be like, anyone else had an experience there? Because I just freaked myself out. And also, all of TikTok knows about it now. So
If
you
you're
better
more
tell
like
me.
me and you're terrified of phone calls,
A gentle email might
you can
do the
do
trick.
an email. You can also do what I do, which is just spend hours on the internet trying to find information, even though I could just call and ask.
I thought you were going to say you do what I do, which is just ignore the problem and walk away and
Oh, well, that's what
dissociate.
I'll do about 2 hours later when I realize this is a moot pursuit.
A moot pursuit. Stop it. It's a moot pursuit.
I will
Oh
not.
my God. I love that. I know that was like possibly the smallest detail of this whole episode so far.
Oh, I'm so
But-
glad that I could make you smile.
Oh, it's so. I just want to keep
Aw.
saying it's like a little Dr. Seuss poem. From now on, I will be using that in my normal vernacular. A moot pursuit.
Oh, I'm so
Okay.
glad.
Before I just say it 10,000 times because it feels good on the ears, let's continue.
Okay.
This next story is from Jordan Hughes. Is she, they pronouns?
Love
we
a
love
double
a double pronoun.
pronoun.
Thank
Woo.
you for normalizing pronouns, Jordan. And the subject line is, my uncle almost joined a murderous Mormon cult that tried to take over the original temple in Kirkland, Ohio.
Everything happens
much
in
is
Ohio.
going on.
I'm
So
telling
much is-
you.
If it's not Florida, it's Ohio.
It's yeah, the two of them I hate how inextricably linked they are, but they are. I can't help it.
Did you see that Spotify recently had a playlist that was just called Florida, and it was just like the craziest true crime
No.
shit I've ever seen in my life.
No, but I love that.
Okay, so here is Jordan's story. I just submitted this as a topic suggestion, but felt it also fit as a personal story. So, my dad grew up in Missouri in the Reorganized Church of Latter-day Saints. My dad and most of his brothers had moved away from the RLDS, but one uncle, we'll call him Uncle G, became more religious and is now a pastor. Uncle G had some type of spiritual experience when he was a young man, which really strengthened his faith. Enter Jeffrey Lundgren. In 1984, the RLDS allowed women to join the priesthood, and this combined with the church's tolerance for the LGBT community, it did not sit well with Lundgren or many other socially conservative church members. So he made an offshoot where he was the leader, of course.
That's
like-
the only solution.
It is. I don't like how things are, so I'm going
I'm
to
not
become
going to
the
look
king.
inward. I'm just going to boss everyone else around. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just either you're with me or you're not with me. And I kind of wish he made his own church and stayed by himself.
I wish nobody were with him, but here we are.
Yeah, that's true. So near Kansas City, Missouri, he gained several followers, damn it, in the
Yeah.
form of usually young Mormon families. My uncle was one of them, and at the time it was more of a conservative Bible study group for RLDS members who didn't like the progressive turn of the church, at least to the people besides Lundgren. During the early to mid 80s, my uncle got to know him and really believed in Lundgren's more conservative views on the RLDS. So far, he sounds like a treat at holiday dinners.
Yeah, right.
In 1987, Lundgren convinced several members to move to a farmhouse in Kirkland, Ohio, near the
Jesus.
original Mormon temple.
Oh, Jesus.
I assume the logic was like, let's be closer to
To
our original
Mecca or some
traditions,
bullshit. Yeah.
or our original core tenets. You know, let's be near let's symbolically move closer.
What's it called? Kirtland?
Kirkland, like Kirkland blueberries.
Oh, there's a Kirtland, but not a Kirkland that I can find.
Well,
Well,
I'll
anyway,
just tell
close
you.
maybe
Maybe
it
it's
is
actually.
it is Kirtland.
I was gonna say maybe
Temple.
it's just the food section of
It's
Costco.
just. I was gonna say I think Kirkland just probably either auto corrected because yeah, the Kirtland Temple is a National Historic Landmark in Cleveland.
Interesting. Well,
Anyway,
in 1987, Lundgren convinced several members to move to a farmhouse in Kirkland, Ohio, near the original Mormon temple. Well, during this time, my uncle really tried to convince his wife to move the family to Kirkland. Luckily, my uncle's now ex-wife was pretty controlling, and my uncle generally just wanted to please her, and she did not want to be that far away from the family in Missouri. Finally, being controlling worked once, I guess.
Yeah.
So, without getting into all the crazy details that come down with a doomsday cult, a family of 5 pretty similar to my uncle's family, also Missouri RLDS white middle class family with a few elementary middle school age kids. They ended up being massacred 2 years later
what?
for secretly putting some money aside to support their daughter's future rather than giving absolutely everything to Lundgren.
What the fuck?
So they were probably like seeing a way out or
Jesus Christ!
doubting him in some way. Me and my cousins found out about this only a couple years ago, and it blew our minds, while my dad and his other brothers, who knew about it this whole time and didn't think to mention it, they weren't surprised at all and just saw it as very in line with G's personality.
Ew.
I guess sometimes being in a controlling relationship has hidden perks. The murders are obviously the worst thing Lundgren did, but the whole story is a roller coaster with some interesting Mormon history. So, Christine, I hope you cover this one day. I didn't even get into the militia or the curse from Joseph Smith or the temple coup plan or money laundering or doomsday camp in the woods or the wild trial. It's honestly one of those stories with so many layers that you might have to split it into 2 parts, even without my own family trauma.
Wow.
And that is Jordan's story.
Jeez, old
So good luck,
Pete.
Christine. Have fun.
Ooh, that is wild.
That's crazy.
I had no idea about this. Geez, I mean, I just looked up the guy. Yeah, I think it's Kirtland, Ohio, and he was an American self-proclaimed prophet, cult leader, and mass murderer who killed
Uncle
a family
G.
of 5. And
Oh.
well, he's not Uncle G, right? Or he is?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
Oh,
Just
okay. Yeah, wow, that's horrifying. He died in Southern Ohio Correctional Facility, so clearly went to prison for that. Wow, that is dark. Dark. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks.
I think this is the last one. So this is called A Celebrity Cult, another cult. And this is from Kelly, who uses she, her, hers pronouns and says, "Hello, lemons and only lemons.
Okay, fair enough.
I've been listening to your podcast since day one and has helped me get through long car drives and Sunday cleaning days. I actually went to your live show in Nashville and had an amazing time.
Oh.
I've been wanting to write in a story for some time now and decided today was the day. This story is not something I personally experienced, but I heard it from my boss, we'll call him Joe, who used to be a sheriff in Colorado about 25 years ago.
Okay.
Joe would usually be sent out into the mountains for different types of 911 calls. One night, Joe got a call from dispatch reporting that there was a noise disturbance in the mountains an hour out of town. Joe drove to the spot where the disturbance was reported. It's important to note that he described the road leading up to this area as a one-way dirt road. It was almost impossible to get up this mountain without a truck, SUV, etc. Joe stopped his truck at the entrance of this one-way road and decided to hike up the hill so whoever was making this disturbance did not hear his tires coming up the dirt road. While walking up this hill, he saw dozens of luxury cars, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, Rolls-Royce. Cars that are no way fit to be driving up this steep mountain. Oh, geez.
I don't like that.
Doesn't seem good.
It seems bad.
Fishy. Joe started to take pictures of each car and each license plate. In the distance, he saw a fire pit with individuals standing around it. Oh my God, I'm scared. Joe got about 10 feet from where these individuals were and crouched behind a rock and some trees. Joel told me there was no possible way that anyone who was standing near the fire could see him due to it being dark and how far away he was. He witnessed
Okay.
around 15 people standing in black cloaks,
Forget
I'm
it.
sorry, black cloaks, and one in a red one. Ew.
I would have absolutely backed away and never returned.
Never come back.
I'd have been like,
Never.
I would have at least called for backup. One Joe versus all these people.
This sounds like a Stephen King situation. Like,
I know.
oh, God. He was watching them. Yeah, I would have gone back, but taken all those pictures of the license plates with me and then
Oh,
looked
yes.
all of them up, you know.
1000%.
He was watching them chant something, but could not exactly hear what it was. All of a sudden, he watched the individual standing and oh my God, I'm
What?
scared. I'm home alone right now. I'm so scared. All of a sudden, he watched the individual standing in the red cloak turn directly into his direction. He got goose cam all down his spine. Joe said
God.
everything in his body was telling him to get out of there and call for backup. Joe sprinted back down. Ew, so they're all chanting, and then the red robe person just looks right at you in the bushes.
I hate it.
Joe sprinted back down where the entrance/exit was. He called dispatch for backup, and about an hour later, the other police officers showed up. Joe told them exactly what he saw. Joe and the other officers started walking back up the hill where he saw the cars and the individuals around the fire, but unfortunately, there was not a single trace that anyone had been on the mountain.
I was
All
going to
of
say they were gone.
They were
by
out
then.
of there. All of the cars were gone with no tire tracks to be seen. Whoa, yeah, there was no fire
Ew.
pit and no creepy ass
What?
people in cloaks. Joe said his
No.
coworkers did not believe him fully. Well, yeah, I guess I can't blame them if there really is no trace.
Yeah, I guess so. But wow, like like the gaslighting alone.
I
I'm
know.
just like,
Imagine how hard
what?
that would be. Like, I swear to God. Joe said his coworkers fully did not believe him since there was no evidence until Joe showed them the photos of the cars and license plates. Okay,
Okay,
good.
thank God.
Whew, I hate when that happens and you're like, believe him. Joe and the officers all had a wary feeling and decided to call it a night and get the hell off that mountain. The next day, Joe started running the license plate numbers in the database. Joe said that each car was registered to some A-lister celebrities.
Shut the fuck up.
I, of course, being nosy, immediately asked who. To this day, he will not tell me due to it still being an ongoing investigation.
Oh my God.
To this day, he does not know how they covered their tracks and left that mountain without going down that one-way road. Jesus,
What?
holy. Thanks for reading. Love all that you do. Now, listen to me right now, Kelly. Did you just rope us into some horrible... I'm so scared that they're going to come knock on our door and be like, take down the episode.
Oh my God. If we do get an anonymous email that just says delete it, I'm gonna be like, okay, well,
Done.
I'm telling people now, if I feel like there's any anonymous tip coming towards me at all, it will be told. It will be told, not to the masses, but at least to somebody I trust, and you
Yeah.
won't know who. And if something happens to me, then Christine, I need you to cover
It's
it on
called
the
a
story, on the
friend okay?
Also, if either of us ever get invited to this thing, what if we were at the fire that night, Christine? Can you imagine? They just don't know. Like, we just read our own story and we're actually finding out right
just-
now that we were busted.
We got our memories wiped.
I
Oh,
don't
it's
know
too
about
bad I
you.
left my Bugatti license plate uncovered. It's too bad. When I heard Bugatti, I thought, oh, that must have been me.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce. Oh God, mine? I hope not mine. If they got my plate, I'm screwed.
We put those in That's Why I Drink bumper stickers on them. So, like, they should have figured out who we were.
Your Bugatti had a picture of my face doing this.
And you hadn't put mine up yet, and I was pretty offended, honestly.
Honestly, it might have saved you though at this point. So
I guess so. Yeah, thank you for
wow.
that.
Well, thank you so much for that horror fest. I really hope nobody ever comes reaching out to us that we just maybe
Indeed.
outed in A-list. You know, there's a bunch
Indeed.
of TikTok people who like do like blind items. I would be interested to see if they know anything about like an A-list celebrity.
What's a blind
cult.
item?
I don't know what a blind item is, except that like it's like anonymous tips. I don't know how you,
Oh.
but it's anonymous tips that have been like historically pretty accurate a lot
I love
of the time.
those. I love those. Kind of conspiracy.
Yeah, and it's like it's always very vague, but you can kind of guess what it's about. And like, you know, I'm sure
I
the people
love
in the
that.
blind items don't like that their shit's
Sure.
being told, but a lot of times things have been right. And so, if there's a blind item about an A-list celebrity cult,
Man.
you know, let's all pay attention to that. So,
I mean, I know some stories that involve some very rich, powerful people because I knew some people who worked in the service industry for those rich, powerful people and were willing to break their NDAs for some girl they met at the gym, aka me. Back when I went to a gym, that was like the only enjoyable experience I ever had at a gym. And also like the least productive because I was just asking questions and not doing anything.
Honestly,
exercise.
I would hope, I don't care how married and with child you are ever, you better flirt your ass off if
Oh.
you ever hear about another NDA thing like this.
Any day. I will not let it stay unsaid ever.
If Allison ever came home and said that someone was willing to give her confidential celebrity gossip, like in exchange for flirting, and she told me she didn't do it, I'd be like, we have to break up because
is the
you don't
end.
understand the assignment.
You failed your test.
1,000%.
Yeah, and she told me some really wild shit that I absolutely don't feel comfortable sharing in public. And when she told me that, I was like, "Girl, you're gonna get yourself in big fucking trouble."
Have you told me?
Not. Yeah, I think I've told you. Of course, I've told you. I've told you, and I've told Blaze and probably my mom. But that's about it. I'm not gonna say it publicly because I don't want to get targeted. You know.
I've definitely told you things that I can't say out
Yeah,
loud.
it's fun to tell people things.
It's also fun that we've like hinted about things before, but
I love
nobody knows
that.
what we're talking about.
Which is probably
like,
so annoying, but I love it.
like just know we're trying. Like that's the
I
best we
want
can
to
do.
tell you
and we,
so bad.
I promise we want to tell you, and we just can never.
Maybe in like 5 or 10 years, depending on how things play out. With
maybe
said
when certain people are dead.
gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Once we can't actually officially get them in prison for the things that they probably
Exactly.
deserve to be in prison for.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, well,
What
what
a
a
tale.
good what a good one to end on. I really do want to know if we know anybody that has. We should talk to our manager. You know, well,
Oh. She might know. some
she
things.
wouldn't tell us. She knows that we have too big of mouths.
I know.
But
She would
she's-
never trust. She's
but she
listening to this
knows-
right now going, no, you can't hear anything.
Well, also, even if I don't know if she would rep anybody who would be in one of those cults, but I think she might have heard things through the
I
grapevine.
feel like
you know what I'm
if
saying?
anyone knows some gossip, yeah, she would know.
I'll
for
text her.
sure.
I'll text her and I'll put you in the text. I'll be
Okay,
like, what do you know?
amazing. Thank you.
What do you know?
Tell us what you know. She's gonna be like,
tell us
I'm
what
at
you
dinner.
know.
What do you want from me?
She's literally out of the country right now.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's worth it.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep sleuthing over here. I have only complete faith in Christine's ability to find anything in 30 seconds or less. So I think maybe
I'm
this
itching
is.
to go research.
I have a feeling this is like going to be about like a 27 second find for you. And
No, I
we'll know
wish
something.
I wish. I don't
Uh,
want to insult their uncle here, her uncle, and be like, oh,
No,
I'm
I
sure
think
can
I would have
find
done everything. I would have done exactly everything he did. I would have kept my mouth shut. I would be scared.
Fucking
Because what if they saw my face and they're that powerful? Oh my
yeah,
God, no, I
they
would.
clearly saw that or sensed that he was there, which is terrifying.
I absolutely would have. You know what I would have
Poop
done
my
though?
pants. Oh,
Yeah,
not
That's
that. Okay.
that's pretty much it. I wonder. I wonder how it ended. So, Joe,
I
if you're out
know.
there, we're rooting for you and your
Ooh.
team.
Ooh, I got
And,
goose
uh,
camp.
And that's it.
I
well,
want to know, but don't make sure he tells you. Make sure he knows that the second that he's allowed to, that he tells you, Kelly, because I need to know more.
there you have it.
There you have it.
I wish you well, everybody. I hope anyone who's an A-list celebrity in this cult or another, don't come at me. It's not our fault that you got
We're
busted.
sorry.
And
We didn't mean it.
we
We're just
didn't mean it.
nosy. We're so nosy.
Curiosity really will kill a cat, and I'm the cat.
And we're the
Yeah.
cat.
Until then, we will thank you for sending in your submissions, everybody. And you can continue to send in your submissions to, is it still just our website? We've got a submission form there. And we will see you with more listener stories next month in February.
Yay. I can't wait.
And
That's
why
we.
drink.